good morning, good evening. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Rocket Radio Show, starring your host, Rocket.
This is the Rocket Radio Show. This is your host, Rocket.
Well, this morning I was browsing through just by a random selection of an actual book, which is ink on paper, and I was cruising through Genesis, just kind of reading, wow, there's so many weird things about it. I don't know what to think about it. Geez, these guys were strange. So they're in the Garden of Eden, okay? The first thing, the first lie, the first sin was doubt. Did God really say, blah, 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 is what the snake said, right? So they doubted him. Later on, when they were cast out of the garden, when it would get night, when it would get dark, let's get some crickets, a little campfire. Adam's sitting around reminiscing, thinking about the garden and how he fucked that up. And now he's out, digging in dust and crappy dirt where, in the garden, it was fertile topsoil. You know what I mean? Now, when he's dealing with Eve, she's always bitching and whining, complaining, and bickering at him. Now all of a sudden it's not fun anymore. It's not paradise anymore. You gotta worry about wild animals. Let's just go on. I don't get it. So they eat from the tree of knowledge between good and evil, right? So now all of a sudden they wise up. They stop sleeping in the rain and acting like dogs, like domesticated dogs. They realize that they're naked. They start inventing things like the wheelbarrow and the nuclear weapon. They start advancing themselves. That's the idea. They learn the good and evil. Right? Very next kids they have, one of them murders each other, right? Because they've consumed the knowledge of good and evil. So what is God's reaction to that?
His reaction is, oh shit, now they know good and evil. Quick, put a flaming sword in front of the tree of life so they don't eat from that and then become immortal like us. Who us? You mean the Holy Trinity? I don't know what they mean, but it says us. Trippy. So then Cain and Abel go out and have a bunch of begats and begats another kid and another kid, and you go through time, right? All of a sudden everybody's violent. There's violence spread throughout the earth. It's horrible. And then God is grieved. He's grieved over his creation of mankind. He's grieved. God damn it, or he'd say, myself, damn it, I don't like my humans, my little experiment. And they're after our image. Damn it. Okay, I'm sending a flood to kill all these little bastards. I'm killing all of you. I'm going to sink you. Not only was there 40 days and 40 nights of rain on the ark, but they were drifting around on top of the surface of the flood for 150 days. And then, man, are these guys patient, because when the ark supposedly lands on Mount Ararat, they stay inside there a couple of more months, or I don't know, it's a long time. He sends out a raven, nothing. Sends out a dove, nothing. Sends out another dove, comes back with an olive branch. Oh, now it's time, open the gates, and all of the animals, two by two, went out and populated the earth. And you, Noah, and your wife, and your sons, and their wives shall begat the next 12 tribes, blah, 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 and spread and multiply. And as they multiplied, they made a great nation, and there was one language. I like this one. They spread all over the earth with one language. And then they began to erect a great tower, the Tower of Babel, so that we might make a name for ourselves. And then what does God do? He says, oh, bullshit on that. Okay, wave a wand. Now everybody speaks a different language. Now you guys can't talk and plot and scheme, you little slavettes, you little evil scumbags, right? Okay, I don't want to give the whole story away. I don't want to be, ruin it for you. But, okay, so then later on, these angels are kicking it, and they go into a guy's house, and some guys come saying they want to have sex with the angels. So what does the dad say? He says the reasonable thing. He says, hey, listen, I got 2 daughters. They've never had sex before. Take them and do with them what you will. To a mob of gay men attacking his house, saying they want to have sex with these 2 angels. Nice. Then later on, the guy gets told, hey, this whole city's going to be destroyed. You need to get out of here. He says, oh, okay, well, let me talk to my daughter's potential husbands. See, he was cool with giving them to the town villagers for a gangbang, but they actually do have fiancés. And he says, hey, listen, I've been told that Sodom's going to be destroyed. We got to get out of here. And they laugh at him. Because a couple of nights ago, or last night, you said, go ahead, town people, ravish my 2 daughters, because they've never slept with. Here's my 2 virgin daughters. Don't, gang rape, male homosexual gang rape these 2 angels. What you need to do is take my 2 virgin daughters and have at them do what you will. Cool, nice dad, right? So then they're boogieing to get out of there. The wife looks conveniently back and is turned into a pillar of salt, right? Nobody looks back. Okay? So the dad and the 2 daughters make their way eventually to a cave. And when they're at the cave, the 2 daughters realize, we got no husbands anymore. So they get their dad drunk with wine, and through a long story, they both sleep with him, and they both have children with their dad, whose wife was conveniently turned into a pile of salt from a destroyed city from asteroids, before he offered his 2 daughters to the villagers to have their way with. The only righteous man in the city. The more I investigate religion and my own feelings about God, and the clear recognition via the Mark Dice videos, humans are just slaves. We're slaves. The more I research it, the more I begin to believe the Anunnaki story is the only thing that makes sense. Everything else is hocus-pocus and requires belief. The doubting Thomases have trouble with it. But it just seems weird that the Sumerians
are right on the money about mathematics. They're right on the money about their alphabet. They're right on the money about their historical recordings. They are right on their money about their own money and commerce. They were right on their money about agriculture. They knew exactly what to do for military stuff. All these firsts for civilization. Accurate. And then all of a sudden, guess what? We learned all of this from aliens.
Oh, well, that's crappy bullshit mythology. And they're not saying the Titans. They're not saying that they learned it from beings that were created by a flint that was spit out of Mother Earth. No, they said that it was created by beings that were taller than them from another fucking planet. And, drew little fucking suns with the planets revolving around them, including Pluto. How did they know that? All the other shit they knew was right on the money. But when it comes time to explain why the human race is even here, we'll throw all that out with the bathwater. Human beings are 99% chimpanzee, right? A rib is a perfect place to get DNA. See, and the trippy thing about this is, if you look around our planet, every single continent has goddamn pyramids. These pyramids, these big monoliths, they don't even know how old that shit is. It's all over the world. It's not just some fancy pyramid in Egypt. It's everywhere, including every person that happens to have a dollar bill. Pyramids are everywhere. And there are chances that some of that shit was created 400,000 years ago. Do you think, if right now, everything just stopped, that in 400,000 years from now, that all of the Coca-Cola bottles and all the wrappers and all the pollution and all our skeletons and all the lumber and concrete and steel and material, what would be left in 400,000 years? I'll tell you, probably not much. It would be very difficult to tell we were even here. Maybe they could dig up some mine shaft and find a bunch of old, kind of like Planet of the Apes, and find, particles and stuff, little items from the 20th century. Maybe that's possible. But as it stands, we have pyramids and giant stone structures that we have no fucking clue about. And yet, we have dinosaurs. We know there were dinosaurs 50 fucking feet tall. Jeez Louise! It makes sense. Aliens come, they don't want to work. And this is supported by a bunch of different cultures, origin, folklore. They didn't want to work, they complained, they rebelled, so they created a slave race by mixing their DNA with the animal's DNA. Something probably that had a prehensile thumb and could carry shit. A chimp. Now, if we're to take them at their word, these beings, these giants, came back like thousands of years later. That's like a cycle for them to check on them and see what's going on. And if you really get into the details, there was a goddamn nuclear war. There was even a bad guy named Sin. I mean, just too many parallels, too many explanations on what happened to Atlantis. It explains it perfectly. And these details are listed on little scrolls, little dial, little things that they're engraved in gold and shit. They're thousands of years old. There's thousands of them with the same goddamn story. So maybe Nibiru. That's so stupid. We didn't learn that in school. Maybe Nibiru will return. And maybe we'll get lucky and there'll be a benevolent Jesus Christ-like alien amongst them. So, according to the Bible, if that happens, we are not to worship them, right? We are not to kowtow to these aliens. They'll be the false Messiah. They won't be the Caucasian, blue-eyed Jesus figure that we know. What happens when God comes back and Jesus shows up and he's black? Is everybody going to complain like they did about our black president who's done nothing wrong, just he's black and your guys are prejudiced, bigoted, white, racist, right-wing assholes? Maybe Jesus is black. Then what, honky? Ha 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 ha!